Welcome to the how-to guide about money and minimalism in the military. Tap that thumbs up and let's send it. What is up, Money Tribe? Mike Damazo here to help you make sense of dollars. Our mission is to help you get the F out of debt and then build wealth. For this one, we'll talk about minimalism, money, and the military. So, why minimalism? Minimalism because it's that time for me and Grace where I am about to PCS, meaning I'm moving from one place to another. However, much like my other moves, this time it is not just in state. I'm actually going to be moving overseas with my wife and dog, and it will be in Japan. So that's why I wanted to cover this video for you about minimalism in the military, especially as it relates to your money. Alright, so minimalism is definitely getting rid of stuff you don't need anymore, just having more of the stuff that you intend to have and less clutter and things that bring you joy if you watch Marie Kondo, or even if you watch the Minimalism documentary by Matt Diavella. I'll link that in the descriptions down below. So I started minimalism with money because I think the time to go move right now is the best time to declutter and get rid of stuff that we don't need anymore, or in particular it's for me, things that I don't need, such as all these other clothes that I haven't worn for over a year, these other shoes that I could just donate, or like I've done before is sell some of the Legos that I've had in my collection that I knew I was gonna sell, but moving overseas helped move that forward faster. So minimalism is gonna be different for everyone. You have to create a plan that works for you, because I can't tell you get rid of those books when there could be a lot of sentimental value for you. For me, when it was something that had a lot of sentimental value and I knew I wanted to get rid of it, but I couldn't just like let it go, I would definitely take a picture of that item and then save it onto my Dropbox and kind of refer back to it. And even if I didn't get rid of it yet, just taking that picture and then remembering like, oh wow, I don't even look at that book as much as I would want to. I could just look at the picture and I could look online if I want to go read that, if it's really that important. So with decluttering, I think the first challenge was finding out I was about to move overseas to Japan and I had a goal of over 100 items. I unfortunately didn't count how many items we got rid of, but there was plenty of trips over to Goodwill to drop stuff off, or those bins where you could just drop clothes off. So a lot of times when me and Grace found out we were moving to Japan, as it got closer, we would tackle one specific room in our condo to like tackle, such as our kitchen, and then down to the living room, the outside closet, and then our bedroom. And it was just 1 week at a time and kind of looking at things, decluttering. Like every day as it came closer, we would kind of think like, okay, do we need this? Does this really bring me joy? Fortunately for Grace, Dobby brings me a ton of joy, so we are gonna keep him and he'll be going to Japan with us. Much like with anything else, I think for me, like items that come more into my life, I'd like to create a system, designate a place for them. Kind of just like right now I'm on a weird gear acquisition where, oh my god, like I want this new camera, the ZV-1, but does it really bring me joy? Will it really up my skill level? And something I realized as I film more things is the best camera to have is the one I master. So I'm gonna stick with my A7S III and my RX 107. Moving forward, I want to spend money on things that generally make me happy. So if it's like, oh, should I buy that? I'm like hesitant about it. I'm not gonna purchase that unless it's something like, yeah, I want to go buy that. And even at that part, like I'll sleep on it, wait for a week, and really debate that purchase moving forward. And being married, I obviously have to discuss that with my wife, just because our goal is to get rid of her student loans and then build up our net worth and reach financial independence. So some background on me with being in debt. It was definitely when I first got into the Navy, you know, just being free and not having my uncle or aunts watching over me or my mom, and it was a lot of like the paycheck that I would have and I would want to go buy shoes. And at the time I was living on the ship and I would just go downtown San Diego and go buy all these J's, Air Forces, and I'd like go back to the ship and just have like tons of shoe boxes, but I was still walking and didn't really like get rid of shoe boxes. So it was like living on a boat the first year or so of being in the military made me realize like, man, I need to like be smart about the things that I acquire. From there there, I definitely got into more credit card debt. My auto loan, I've had 2 cars at one time, and just all the credit card offers that like people would give to you, even to like a payday loan that I would usually get before, thinking like, oh, I could just go to a payday loan and it'll be like paid off when I get my paycheck. So it's one of those things that you have so much excess debt, and then you realize like you need to trim those off so that you're living more intentionally with your money. So one thing that I always recognize for me while in the military is each rank that you do go up, people are always like, oh, you should go buy a new car, you deserve that like E6 car. Whatever car you probably have right now is perfect. For me, it was a Mercedes-Benz CLK 430. That was the made it trophy car because I made E5, but it was paying off that Mercedes and then the car that I did have at the time and the credit cards. So like looking back at it, don't try to keep up with Good Time Charlie. Good Time Charlie is that guy that's first in the 15th that's trying to go out, not clearly right now because of COVID, but going out to the clubs, to the bars, and just spending a ton of money for all his paycheck on that weekend. And the next weekend it's kind of just like eating on the ship and not necessarily saving anything. Even if like your savings is 100, that's better than nothing and better than living paycheck to paycheck. Something I did realize later on is know the difference between looking rich and actually being wealthy. Looking rich means you're just spending a bunch of stuff to keep up with the Kardashians and wanting those new shoes, and you gotta think about all that gear accumulation at the end of the day. Like, that's not increasing your net worth, which is more important and which is the like quiet flex I like to think of, instead of just the loud flex with the cars that you have or the shoes that you're rocking. Understand the why your goals, then that difficulty becomes less challenging. Recognize the power in being debt free. For me, once I paid off my auto loan, credit cards, it was amazing to like have none of my money, none of my paycheck go into paying off the credit card or my auto loan. So I was able to do more with it and just spend on stuff that I wanted. Clearly now my focus is more on investments with stocks and real estate. Think of it like this: it's less obligation and increased amount of savings. Financial independence is the point where your investments cover your expenses. Less expenses, more investments. That is the goal. I think the biggest thing for me that I learned was money giving me options. Financial independence plus minimalism increases that option for me because there's less things that I need to worry about and care about, especially moving to Japan, of getting rid of stuff and then going there knowing our condo was about 700 square feet and then moving into base housing over there, which will probably be double that. So I want to make sure once we're in Japan, we're not trying to fill that space, because that's something that I always notice would happen for some people and for myself in the beginning, where, oh, I have all this empty space, I need to fill it up with L-shaped couch, the coffee table, desk over there, shelves over there. For me, I want to be intentional and just like that clean cut. What do I need? What do I have already? And just recognizing that. So let me be real. Moving is one of the most stressful times for a service member in particular. Also, it's so stressful for my family right now. Clearly, you guys can tell that it's all different right now with the background. My last video, I recorded it on the road, on the fly. So I think getting rid of all that stuff prior to the movers coming in was super helpful, because it's less things that we had to think about, and we really like took pictures of things, took down serial numbers, so in the event that we do lose something, it's easy to replace. So minimalism for us is choosing a life we want to live with less possessions. All right, so movers packed up everything. Now they are definitely just putting everything in the truck.
Telling stories like that.
How do you feel?
I'm glad we did all the work in advance. Makes the move go a lot more smoothly. Feeling sad, all our stuff is leaving. Looking forward to getting a show on the road.
packed up. Definitely my first experience with minimalism was before purchasing my first property, where I moved from San Diego over to Central California, and I packed a bunch of my stuff in my CRZ. So it was literally just all that stuff, moved into a house, rented out a 1-bedroom, had my own bathroom, and from there, about like 6 months later, I was able to purchase my first home, which I house hacked. I'll put those in the descriptions down below on how I did that. For us, the biggest thing with decluttering and achieving or working on minimalism was dividing up our stuff for what we wanted to keep, donate, and sell. The sell part was super helpful with, as you guys have seen in my previous video, we'll put it on eBay or Craigslist, OfferUp, and all that. And then for things that we kept, it was really intentional of just looking at it and knowing like what use this have, what use will it have for us when we go over to Japan. And then to donate, I like to think of it as it being our stuff having more of a value for someone else, be it they sell it or actually use it. That's the type of donations we're doing, especially with like shoes, a lot of electronic gear that I was like, oh, I could sell this, but you know, it's probably better for someone else to be able to just take advantage of this and really be on the come up by getting that computer I had back in the day. For stuff, definitely moving was way easier when I was single. Now that I'm married and with a dog, it creates that conversation of, do you need this? Or I'll ask her, or she'll ask me if I really need something. And it's not just our stuff, but also the dog stuff that we have to think about. And especially now as we're like traveling up to Washington, I have to think about what's not just my stuff, but also her stuff and the dog stuff, as it fits all in the rental car that we have and also in the luggage that we'll bring as we fly up to Japan. The best way to embrace minimalism while in the military is definitely during PCS. Like mentioned before, PCS, permanent change of station, it's when you're gonna move from one place to another. Now, if it's a local transfer from San Diego Command to another San Diego Command, clearly you can just stay where you're at. But if it's San Diego to Central California to like Florida, or even like us to Japan, that's gonna be a big move. So it's the best time to be able to like really declutter and think of what's important and what's valuable to you. Thank you for watching. Tap that thumbs up if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried minimalism, what you think of it. High five that subscribe. Stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next video.